Hi, how are you? How's it going? You all right? Hope you've had a good weekend. Mine's been okay, very gentle, full of space for thinking and reflection and this sort of thing. Anyway, I thought I'd do a video about true crime. I've been watching true crime for quite a while. I won't keep that up. True crime, I've been watching it for years now. It's massive on YouTube and on other platforms, I guess. But I wanted to recommend a certain number of channels that I really think are good. Some of you may know of them. Some of you may not be interested, of course, in true crime at all. I go in and out with it because sometimes I feel it's just quite heavy, isn't it? But other times there is a fascination there with. But it depends how it's treated now. I can't look at anything that's I can't look at stuff where it's trying to play too much on your emotions in terms of how it's presented. If it's done in a way that's not respectful to victims and so on and so forth. But there are some amazing channels out there. One or two I had to let go of. Well, I didn't have to let go. I just decided not to watch them anymore because of they cottoned on to the Lucy Letby case and they did this kind of number on it, trying to going with the mainstream view and just psychologizing. And I mean, it's their prerogative. I know that, but it's put me off. Anyone who did that, I just can't watch them anymore. I can't watch them anymore. That's how strong the feeling is about it. But the first one I want to recommend, and I'll put the links to these channels below. This has been around for quite a long time. And they don't do videos that often. The last one was 2 months ago. It's called Trace Evidence Podcast. The vast majority are based in America. And it's really, there's not a lot of clips in there. It's just still photographs and this gentleman talking. And he really puts a lot into the research. He really is respectful to the victims in whatever the case is. And he's trying to, as far as I can see, actually try to get movement on some of these cases where people have either gone missing or they've been murdered and somebody hasn't been caught. That's the essence of the channel, is that these cases aren't resolved. The person is still missing, or they're a victim of murder and they've never caught the perpetrator. So I think that's a really good channel. Trace Evidence Podcast. It hasn't got that for the number of years he's been doing it. I mean, he really puts a lot of research into it. But you might want to check that out. So I've got that one there. What's the next one here? This is one I've recently started watching called Crime Night. Night with a K, K-N-I-G-H-T, as in the night, knights of old. And I started watching this because I noticed it came up in the suggestions bar about the Madeleine McCann case. And he's up to like part 33 on this case now. And I'm not sure if it's an AI voice, but it's not one that really bothers me that much. I'm not sure if it is. I don't think it's the person whose channel it is. I don't think it's their voice, but it's another voice. But I don't find it that intrusive. Whereas usually I would. If I hear AI voices, I can't listen to them. But I'm not 100% sure if it is an AI voice. I think it might be. But it's one that seems to be quite natural. But in the recent episodes of this, just looking at his videos now. So it's called Crime Night. I'll put the link below. He's on part 32 of looking at this real deep dive into the Madeleine McCann case, because it's kind of not over in that sense, is it? It's not. People are still very divided and concerned that all is not what it seemed, in terms of thinking that the abduction theory or abduction, the description of it as an abduction is is not wholly believable for some people. For some people it is. And I know it's a very emotive case about a small child, Madeline, and awful, whatever's happened there. But in the last number of episodes, he's obviously has some agreement with this Australian journalist called Mark Sonokonoko, and he's re-uploaded effectively Mark Sonokonoko's investigation. He's doing it stage by stage, which was originally a podcast that was quite big in Australia. I think it's Australia. He sounds Australian to me. I don't know if he's New Zealand or Australia, but he's very good. So it's kind of like a framed investigation going on here, because this Crime Night channels is uploading these podcasts originally produced by Mark Sonokonoko, which are really, really in depth. In one of the recent videos I put up there, I put up a link to Richard D. Hall visiting Peter Hyatt in America and requesting that he engage in a statement analysis of some of the interviews that the parents gave. Anyway, that's that next channel there. Another channel which I think hasn't uploaded for quite a while. No, over a year ago was the last one. But there's 24 videos on it. And as you'll see in the comments, if you look at any of these videos, people are really impressed with this guy who's done these videos, again, for the respect that he's got for the victims. He covers it in a very, very serious and very sensitive way. It's called Dark Enigma. I don't know what his name is. Dark Enigma. I'll put the link below. And he covers some cases which are a bit unusual that you don't often see about. And there's disappearances. A lot of them are unsolved. I think they're all unsolved. There's missing cases of missing people, which I've been fascinated with for a long time, actually. Not all the cases are unsolved. He does cover a case about Helen Bailey, the writer, who was betrayed by her partner or husband. I think they got married. I'm not sure if they did get married, but she was betrayed by this person. There's a lot of videos about that out there, which was a really awful case. But there's a lot of disappearances that he covers. That's Dark Enigma. I'll put that link below. The next one is another chap that he hasn't posted for 11 months, but he's absolutely unique on YouTube in that when he's looking into these cases, he's literally trying to solve them. And he has an amazing array of skills in terms of photographic skills and minutely taking apart these photographs that have been supplied by the police and looking at other things to do with trying to establish exact times of day based on where the sun is at a given time. And it's a guy called Aaron Stoner. Aaron is Arrin Stoner. I'll put the link below to his channel. And he's a relatively small channel for true crime, sort of, if that's what you'd sort of file him under, as it were. But he's unique. He's less than 20,000 subscribers. A lot of them are huge. But this guy is just absolutely unique in the level of skill that he brings to bear and the level of detail. He even covers a British case, which is the case of Claudia Lawrence. I won't say anything about that because what he does on that and the analysis he does on this CCTV is quite extraordinary. And he gets in touch with whether it's the police, the police force in America related to the cases he's looking at. And he also got in touch with the British police force in terms of a theory that he worked up in terms of the Claudia Lawrence case. That was the lady who was working in York at the university as a chef, and she was on her way to work, and she never arrived there, which is another awful mystery and awful for the family. But again, there's this great respect for the victims and the victims' family, and a serious, there's no gimmicks here with Aaron Stoner, as there isn't with any of the people I'm talking about. There's great sensitivity and empathy, and I can't watch anything that isn't like that now. I can't watch it even if, sometimes I can't watch it at all because it's upsetting, isn't it, these crimes, and you think of the families left behind, and in many cases they're unsolved, and people that have gone missing. It's haunting. It's very haunting. And the last one I'll leave here, and I'll leave a link below, is one I found not that long ago called Irish Coffee True Crime. And it's just a very interesting, specifically about cases in Ireland. And again, there's an absolute respect for victims' families here when she's talking about these various stories, various cases that she covers with great sensitivity and a lot of in-depth research and real feeling for it. She's got a lovely soft voice to listen to that's genuine, and it pulls you into these stories, but it's just, she obviously cares very much about what's happened to these people and in these cases. So that's Irish Coffee True Crime. I was going to start talking about other stuff, but I think I'll leave it there. So that's what this video is about. It's a recommendation of, how many is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 channels, I think. Yeah, there's lots. There's other ones I watch, but those are 5 that I think are really excellent. As I say, there were some that I used to watch that I can't watch anymore. But it is a massive. It's a if you can call it a genre or a sort of a sector within YouTube. It's quite huge. It's big, isn't it? Really, and people they research things to a great extent. Really, what I'm not that fond of is anything where there's any kind of gimmick or any kind of lightness about it, like it's sort of entertainment. I mean, in a sense, I don't see it as it's not entertainment. I mean, and that's why these cases are they're done seriously and they're approached seriously. They're talking about human nature and what can happen, and they're very haunting, and they're very. But it's the seriousness of the approach and the empathy of the creators of these channels that I really recommend. And in the case of Aaron Stoner, and indeed in the case of there's one I missed out. I beg you, so I got all these links up to remind myself. There's one that also that I haven't been watching for that long. It's been around a couple of years, I think. A year or two, called Just Thought Lounge. This is a little bit more on the produced side, not massively, but the guy who presents it, he's very good, and it's got a lot of it's down. I don't know how you feel about this. A lot of it's down to the voice, literally the voice, and the vibe of someone. That if they seem to be pushing it, or there's kind of an edge of they're over dramatizing it, or kind of getting, I don't know, stoked up on it in some way, just puts me off. I can't watch anything like that because it's really serious subject matter. Just Thought Lounge. I'll put the link below for that as well. So there's about 6 channels that I think are really, really worth watching if that's your kind of thing. So for some people it isn't, and sometimes it isn't for me either, because it's just can get too dark, and these people are kind of natural storytellers as well as that, but they're telling real stories, and I believe, especially in the ones where someone's missing and they haven't been found, or someone hasn't been brought to book for a crime that they've committed against someone, and there's a victim, that there's a genuine sense that they want it resolved. And you never know that whether, especially in the case of Aaron Stoner, there's a case that he followed in particular that I find, I'm just clicking on it here. The one that he started with, Aaron Stoner, is the case of Steven Koecher. And I've watched his videos maybe 3 or 4 times over. The story is just, it gets to you. This gentleman, Steven Koecher, young guy, he was a little bit behind on the rent, but he was sorting it out. This is in America. He drives down to this place apparently to deliver flyers or to do something, somewhere where he doesn't know anyone. And you see him, the last bit is on a bit of a doorbell camera type of thing, security camera, seeing walk past this residential area, kind of as they say in America, upscale residential area. He walks past the camera, no one ever sees him again. But he visits this particular house, which is then soon sold, and the people that live there disappear. And there's an individual that may or may not be involved in something to do with this, and they're looking at the landlord of where Steven Koecher, I think he was like 29, 30. And Aaron Stoney's even got a song that he wrote here, that Steven Koecher wrote. And that's the principal case he's looked at, really. It's based in America, but it's a complete mystery in the sense that nobody ever found him. Nobody knows what's happened, but people certainly believe now that he met foul play, I think the phrase is, isn't it? Foul play. The Steven Koecher case, yeah, I think about that a lot as well. He seems like a lovely young man. Was getting support from his family, but wanted to be obviously sort of independent and was trying to make ends meet. And Aaron Stoner really just goes out of his way so much. He just does the drive down to this place, which is in Nevada, and parks exactly where Aaron Stoner parked, because the car's found. His car is found there with these. And Steven Koecher is trying to get work, basically, and got his CVs there, and he was doing a sort of a job on the side for window cleaning business, handing out flyers for that. But just you hope for the family that's resolved one day. I don't know how people live with that being unresolved, that a loved one just seems to have disappeared off the face of the earth. But there's something very odd about a particular house that we don't know Steven Koecher visits, but we know he's heading right in that direction for it. And it's a house on this street called Evening Lights. The street's called Evening Lights in this upscale neighbourhood. And the work Aaron Stoner does on the Claudia Lawrence case is just unbelievable. And this is a guy who's living in America and amazing skills, but he hasn't uploaded for quite a while. I'm going to leave it there, otherwise I'll keep rabbiting on all night. Take care, and perhaps for people who may be interested in these channels, you might find them interesting and good viewing. I do recommend them all to you. And I'll just say cheers and good night. I'll just switch myself off.